Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the stream once again. Thursday night, 5-game slate. Excited to break this down with you guys. Talk through all the injuries. Pretty interesting slate because things have changed since last night. Victor Oladipo is officially out. That was kind of expected. Damian Lillard, though, that's the big one. He is out for tonight, so we're gonna have to talk about Portland. Portland's gonna be a big focus of this slate. No Lillard, no McCollum, no Nurkic. Man, there's going to be a lot of viable guys from Portland. No Derek Jones Jr. either. Like they're down so many bodies. I think they have 9 players available. Pretty sure Portland does. So yeah, going to see a pretty tight rotation there. Big minutes for a lot of guys. A lot of them are cheap. Portland's going to be a big focus of the slate. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you tuning into the stream. We'll talk through tonight's slate, answer all your questions for the next hour or so. We'll take a quick look back at my lineup from last night. I got killed by the Lou Dort injury. I played that motherfucker on both sites, and that came back to bite me. But we'll talk about it. What's up, Dylan? How's it going, man? It's going pretty good, Dylan. How about yourself? Pretty excited for this slate. I always like these slates where we get, big injuries that opens up value. I just think it makes it, I don't want to say it makes it clear where you have to go, but, you can kind of tell who the best plays are on these kind of slates. Although, there could be some question marks with a guy like Anthony Simons because supposedly he's dealing with an injury right now. He's not on the injury report, but it's supposedly he hurt his hamstring or something. That's going to be, I don't know. I feel like somehow this is going to come back to bite me, like playing Anthony Simons. I mean, I'm sure we're all going to play him because he's so cheap and he should play a ton of minutes. But I wouldn't be surprised if he tweaks his hamstring again, and we get fucked somehow. What's going on, Noah? Let's make that money today. Blowout from Philly. I'm not going to approach it as a blowout. I mean, it definitely could. I would not be surprised if the Sixers just run them over, but I'm playing all these Portland guys. I'm going to hope the game stays close. If the game does stay close, you're going to see at least probably 2 or 3 Portland guys in the winning lineup, if I had to guess. So, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna approach every game as if it stays close. Not really get scared of a blowout. Morant or John Wall? I think I'd rather have John Wall there. Iceman. I do like Morant quite a bit, but John Wall I think is a really strong play. Now that Oladipo is officially out, if Wall gets over 30 minutes tonight, he's going to pay off his price tag. I mean, he's just too cheap. It's just the minutes haven't been as high as we would like, but he's been really productive this year, and he should be even more productive tonight with no Oladipo. F. Lou Dort, I feel you there. I mean, God, man. I was on both DK and Yahoo, I think I was about 10 or 15 points out of the cash. From cashing in, I had Lou Dort on both sides. So, I mean, even if Lou Dort gives me 20, I'm probably cashing last night. It's frustrating, man. Frustrating. Stars and scrubs are more balanced. With all the value we have from Portland now, I mean, a lot of the Portland guys are not they're not minimum salary, but, a lot of them are pretty cheap. Rodney Hood is cheap. Carmelo's under 5K. Simons is under 5K. It's kind of shaping up to a stars and scrubs slate because, all these guys from Portland are viable. How do you prioritize Portland? Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. We'll talk about that in a second. Probably going to be, for sure, Anthony Simons number 1 at his price tag. Rodney Hood I like on DK. He's really cheap. I really like Carmelo. I think Carmelo might go a bit overlooked, but I expect Carmelo to just get a ton of usage off the bench and just take a ton of shots. I mean, he looks like a really good value too. Restrain his injury from last year in Tuesday's game is what I read. Yeah, I saw that too. I don't know how to feel about that. I feel like if I try and get cute and I don't play Simons, it's going to come back to bite me. And then if I do eat the chalk and I play him, he's going to re-aggravate his hamstring. I just know I'm going to get screwed somehow. Embiid resting tonight. Not that I've saw Brandon. He should be good to go. He's not on the injury report. Noah, feeling more confident every slate. Let's do this. Let's get it, Robert. Hey, I'm glad you're confident, man. I'm glad you're confident. Embiid, Simons, and Josh Richardson or John Morant, Jamal Murray, Will Barton. Probably would take the first side of that, Gabriel, the first side. Word on Embiid or Porzingis. Embiid's not on the injury report. Porzingis, I mean, I'm assuming he plays. We haven't gotten any word yet, so I'm assuming he's playing. I'm assuming both him and Embiid are playing. I figured if they were going to rest, that we would have already found out by now. Melo or Draymond? I think I'm going to prefer Carmelo now. I do still like Draymond, but I think with this news that Lillard's out, I'm going to prefer Melo over Draymond now. I think they should just rest Joel today with no Lillard. I would save him for the next game. I mean, yeah, I guess they could, Jay, but I feel like Embiid probably wants to play, I would assume. A lot of times, these guys want to play. It's just the coaches make the decision. I'm assuming Embiid plays. Until we hear otherwise, I'm going to assume he plays. Gobert or Mitchell? Yeah, that's a close one for me. I think on Yahoo, I'd rather play Mitchell because he's so much cheaper than Gobert. I think on Draftkings, I'd probably rather have Gobert because he's similarly priced, but they're both solid plays. Normally, I don't like to target the Jazz when they're fully healthy, but Gobert and Mitchell do look like pretty solid options given, really good matchup against Atlanta. But obviously with this news now from Portland, Portland's become like a priority for me on this slate, and the Jazz guys are kind of just secondary options now. With all these cheap guys off Blazers, who are your favorite two of the rest of the slate? If you're talking about like two favorite studs, not from the Blazers, like to pay up for, I like Embiid a lot if he plays, and probably Luka, number 2 favorite stud. Luka and Embiid for me. What's good, Noah? I tune in almost every day to the stream. Let's get this money, bro. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate you being here. Let's get that money. Let's get it. Kanter's about to drop a 50 burger. I mean, yeah, he's going to have to be out there to guard Embiid. Like, I don't see any way. Like, Kanter's almost going to have to match the minutes that Embiid plays. Because, like, Harry Giles, he will stand no chance against Embiid. I'm not saying Kanter's going to do anything against him, but, I mean, Kanter's at least a pretty big body. Kanter's not good defensively, though. I mean, I think Kanter and Embiid both have a ton of upside. Kanter, I just worry about the foul trouble against Embiid, but, like, they don't have a choice. They have to play him, I mean, unless they want to throw Harry Giles out there, but that's not going to work at all. Is Gary Trent a play? Yeah, he's definitely viable now. Now that Lillard's out, I don't mind paying, $6,200 for Gary Trent. I was kind of, skeptical to pay that price tag for him heading into the slate, but now that Lillard's out, yeah, Gary Trent looks like a really good option. I mean, there's just, all these guys from Portland are viable. Whenever you have the 3 highest usage players off the floor not playing, I mean, there's just going to be so many other guys that are in play now from Portland. Like, I think if I had to rank the Portland guys in terms of the ones that are playable, I don't know if I'm going to be going to like Blevins or Ellaby. I know they're available to play, or Harry Giles. Like, I'm probably not going to be considering any of those guys, but literally all the 6 other guys. So Kanter, Gary Trent, Covington, Anthony, Simons, Hood, all 6 of those guys are in play for me. Like, obviously you're not going to play all 6 of them in one lineup, but all 6 of those guys would be in my player pool tonight. And I guess you could take a shot on Giles or Blevins or Ellaby. I just don't know how many minutes they play. Like Ellaby, I mean, he's barely played at all this year. I don't see him, playing like 30 minutes today. I don't think that's going to happen. Blevins, he's barely played this year. Giles, at least we know, will back up Kanter. Maybe they'll play Giles alongside Kanter a little bit. If I had to go to any of the bench guys outside of the 6 we just mentioned, it'd probably be Giles. But, he just hasn't been getting enough minutes to where he can pay off this price tag. But, something could happen here. They don't really have a ton of bodies, so they could, just decide, hey, we got to play Giles alongside Kanter, or Kanter could get in some foul trouble, and then they just have to throw Giles out there. But I really think those 6 guys from Hood up, those are the ones we want to target. All are viable for me. All are viable. I mean, they don't have any other bodies, so it's going to be a really tight rotation. Even if the game blows out, I think you'll probably see, I would assume, like, even in a blowout, Anthony Simons probably still plays. Gary Trent's probably the 5th guy out there. Like, I don't see Kanter or Covington or Carmelo. Rodney Hood probably won't play in a blowout, but I think Simons and Gary Trent would probably play in a blowout. So, like, they feel super safe here. Super safe. I guess the only worry with Portland tonight is that they're just, their offense is terrible. Like, they're just so inefficient. They only score, like, 70 points by the end of the night. But even if that happens, like, I can still see some of these guys being good plays, but just because, they're so cheap, or most of them are. What's up, everyone? Let's get it, Noah. Let's get it, man. Let's get it, man. That Hemi gun go tonight. I feel you there, man. I bet you if this was any other game, like, Simons probably would have sat. But given they only have 9 bodies, like, they're basically just saying, screw it, you got to play. We don't have a chance, or we don't have a choice. Because, I mean, you have to have at least 8 active players. So if Simons were to, if he were to have been ruled out, that would have just gave them 8 bodies. I'm just worried that we get a scenario where Simons, like, just doesn't play a ton, and they just elect to throw Ellaby out there just because, I don't know. It's a bit worrisome, but I'm still playing Simons. Until we hear otherwise, I'm playing him. Is John Wall out? No, he's playing. He's playing. He's off the injury report. He rested yesterday so that he could play today. Who's your top fade and top stud? I mean, top stud for me is probably Embiid. It's either between him or Luka. Probably go Embiid right now, especially because I'm going to be playing, 2, 3, 4 Portland guys. Makes sense to have someone on the Philly side. So I like Embiid. Top fade. I don't know if there's a guy that's really chalky that I'm going to be fading. I don't really know who's going to be the chalk right now. I don't really know. Another thing is Trae Young's questionable, so that's going to be some shit if Trae Young gets ruled out. I mean, that's just going to, that's going to really throw things into a wrench. I assume Trae Young plays, but he's also questionable too. He popped up on the injury report. But yeah, top fade. I don't really know a top fade. I mean, I don't really like LeBron or AD a ton. I guess they're kind of like fades for me. I'd rather play, Embiid, Luka, Jokic. Luka or Jokic, I think I still prefer Luka there. Simons will be Ish Smith tonight. I mean, yeah, Ish Smith was terrible last night. I think he shot 0 for 8 from the field. He couldn't do anything. It's funny how, Ish Smith getting 26, 28 minutes off the bench whenever Westbrook's playing, and then Westbrook gets ruled out, Ish Smith starts, and he plays 24 minutes. I don't get it. You would think the starting point guard would be out, so Ish Smith would get even more minutes, and he plays less minutes. Doesn't make any sense. That was, super frustrating last night. Ish Smith, the Lou Dort injury. Man. Would they play Boban with Golden State having virtually no centers? I doubt it. Boban's not going to play, I would assume. Even though Golden State doesn't have a ton of big men, they're not just going to throw Boban out there for no reason. Would you rather run Simons or Hood? I think Simons gives you more upside. He might be a bit risky because of this hamstring injury he's supposedly dealing with, but I think he still gives you more upside if he plays his full minutes. But I like both Simons and Hood. I think they're both in play. 232 people watching, 34 likes. Come on, gang, let's get this young man out of all the time he takes, gives us some likes. Yeah, hit the like button, guys. Hit the like button. I hate begging for likes, but I do appreciate all the likes. I think it does help the stream. If there's a lot of likes, it helps to, grow the stream. In the algorithm, it helps, with whenever there's, streams that have a lot of likes, you usually see them do well in the algorithm. You're able to reach out to more people. So I do always appreciate the likes. Mitchell or Harris? I definitely would rather have Donovan Mitchell. I just don't really play Tobias Harris when the Sixers are fully healthy. So, yeah, Donovan Mitchell for me. What do you think about this lineup? Josh Richardson, John Wall, Rodney Hood, Draymond Green, Jokic, Eric Gordon, Robert Covington. I mean, that looks pretty solid. I mean, I'd be scared to not have Trent or Simons because I think one of those two guys probably has, a really good game for their price tags. But, you do have Hood, you have Robert Covington in there, so you at least got 2 Blazers. I think you want to have at least 2, maybe 3 Blazers in every lineup tonight. I just don't see a scenario where none of these Blazers are good, good for their salary. At least a couple of them are going to do really well for their salaries. At least a couple of them are going to, 6X, 7X. Murray or Conley for points? I'd probably take Murray. Hit so he can get a Popeye sponsorship. I don't think we'll ever reach that far, but yeah, maybe Popeyes will reach out to me one day. Hey, if anyone who anyone who works at Popeyes, contact your management. Tell them give me a sponsorship. Give me some free food. Does it bother you if you leave a few dollars on the table when filling out your roster, especially in Yahoo? No, I don't mind it. Not on on shorter slates, it's a good way to get a little different, leave some money on the table. I don't leave a ton of money. Draftkings, I think leaving 300, 400 on the table is totally fine on a main slate. On Yahoo, leaving $2, $3, $4 is fine. I wouldn't leave $1,000 on the table though, or $10 on Yahoo. I wouldn't leave that much. Fading Joker tonight has not had the best performance against the Lakers overall. What do you think? I mean, I'm always scared to not have Jokic. I'm only playing one lineup on each site, and I don't know if I'm going to get to Jokic. It's always scary, but I mean, yeah, it's not the best spot. Would I be surprised if Jokic kind of disappoints tonight? No. Would I be surprised if he puts up 70? No. I don't know. I don't think Jokic is going to be a first guy in for me. I think I'd rather play Embiid in a better matchup, better game environment. Embiid could definitely outscore Jokic, and I wouldn't be surprised. Should we buy the Monte Morris love for tonight? I like Monte Morris. Without Gary Harris, he should start, play probably 30, 32 minutes. He's still pretty cheap. Obviously, the Portland guys look like way better value plays, but yeah, Monte Morris is viable for sure. Rondo, if Trey is out, better than Simons. What's Rondo's price? Yeah, I'd take Rondo over Simons. If Trey's out, I'm going to take Rondo over Simons. I think Trey's going to play, though. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. Show us your dog for likes. He's back there somewhere. He's behind the pillows. He does this weird crap where he literally, like, gets behind the pillows. So the pillows right there, you see him? He's behind the pillows. Weirdo. Josh Richardson or Monte Morris? Honestly, I'd probably rather have Monte Morris. I know Richardson's been playing really well. I don't know if that's going to continue, though, so I'd probably take Monte Morris. Joker or Embiid if you're playing one lineup? I think I lean Embiid now. I think I prefer Embiid. Maybe that's a little hot take, but give me the savings. I'll play Embiid over Jokic. Just got here. Love the content. You playing Anthony Simons tonight? Most likely. If he's starting and not limited, I think I'm going to prefer him. He's going to be one of the better values. But like we said, if Trae Young gets ruled out, which I don't think is going to happen, but if he does, I think I'd take Rondo over Simons for the savings. But honestly, I'd probably play both Rondo and Simons together if Trae Young's out. Pastrami sandwich or hamburger? Oh, hamburger for sure. Bane or Hood? I prefer Hood. Conley or Morant? Give me John Morant. I won last night, but definitely would have won a lot more if Teague and Ish Smith didn't screw me. Yeah, those were Teague, Ish Smith, Lou Dort. Those were like some of the biggest letdowns from last night. I didn't even get to Teague in my lineup, but I don't know. I remember I checked the box score and he really he wasn't doing anything. I think in the fourth quarter he had 7 points, a couple of rebounds, an assist, and a steal. He had 14 points heading into the fourth quarter, so he was pretty bad. Richardson, Trent, or Hood? Definitely Gary Trent there, if you have the salary. Thoughts on Eric Gordon? Yeah, Eric Gordon's definitely in play. Without Oladipo, I assume he starts again. Probably gets 30, 32 minutes, if not more. I think the Portland guys I'm going to prefer over, Eric Gordon. I'd probably rather have Gary Trent now for a little bit more salary. But yeah, Eric Gordon's definitely viable. Toscano Anderson, or would you rather have Hood or DFS? I think I'm going to prefer Hood over Toscano Anderson. But yeah, Toscano Anderson is definitely in play. Especially if Pascal sits. If Pascal's out, that makes me feel even better about Toscano Anderson. And he's really cheap, so he's definitely viable. Thoughts on Porzingis? Will he be on a minutes restriction? Right now, he's not on the injury report. Just monitor that up until lock. But I'm assuming that if Porzingis plays, that he's full go. You think you could fade that last game? I mean, yeah, I don't like much in the late night game. I think Monte Morris and Will Barton on the Denver side are probably my favorite plays from that game. I don't really like much on the Lakers at all. Jokic is viable, Jamal Murray's viable, but really the guys I have the most interest in are Monte Morris and Will Barton. That's really it from the late night game. Which 3 Portland players would you consider a core option according to the price? I think Simons, Carmelo are definitely my 2 favorites. For third favorite, it would probably be between Rodney Hood or Trent. Trent, I think, plays 40 minutes. Even if it's a blowout, I think Gary Trent's just going to be out there a ton. His price is still pretty high, but I think he's just going to play so much that he can still pay off that price tag. Rodney Hood's so cheap, though. It's tough. I think I'd probably go number 1, Simons, 2, Carmelo, 3, Rodney Hood, but it would be close between Hood or Trent for that third spot. But I think Robert Covington, Enes Kanter, they're both in play as well. But, they're not going to be the first guys into my lineup, whereas Simons, Melo will definitely be for sure. Thoughts on Christian Wood? I mean, yeah, he's viable. I don't think I'm going to be going out of my way to play Christian Wood tonight. I think there's other guys I'd rather get to. I'd rather pay up for Embiid at center if I can. Probably even rather take Gobert for cheaper. I don't really like Christian Wood that much on this slate. Probably not going to be playing him personally. John Collins or Tobias Harris? I'd probably rather have John Collins. And Gabriel, I'd prefer John Wall over Morant. Tom Brady or Mahomes? I mean, if you're asking who I think wins the Super Bowl, I think the Chiefs are going to win, but I'd like to see the Bucs win. I just don't like seeing, teams win 2 years in a row, unless it's my favorite team. Covington or Carmelo on Yahoo? I'd probably take Carmelo, honestly, over Covington. Appreciate your content. Love the night before breakdowns. The longer, the better. Thanks, Noah. I appreciate that, J-Rob. Glad you enjoy the content, man. Gobert or Porzingis? Yeah, that's a close one for me. I think I lean Porzingis, but it's really close between him and Gobert. Really close. I had Ish Smith and Lou Dort, both my lineups as well. Feel everybody's pain. Yeah, I'm right there with you, David. These were my lineups from last night, guys. We'll hit on them real quickly. Not going to spend too much time. This is what I ran on Yahoo. It's going to be very similar to my DK lineup, but had LaMelo Ball. Once it was announced that Rozier was out, I like LaMelo a lot. Obviously, I was high on Bradley Beal with no Russell Westbrook. Was high on Ish Smith with no Russell Westbrook. Diallo I thought was one of the better values, especially when it was announced he was starting. Lou Dort, look, I was going to take a shot on him. I knew he was going to be low owned. His usage actually goes really high. It's really high with SGA off the floor. It's a limited sample size, but he's actually been really productive without SGA on the floor this season. So I was going to take a shot on Lou Dort. He got hurt. It's whatever. Sabonis, just too cheap in a pretty good matchup, fast-paced game. He smashed. Even in 3 quarters, Sabonis had 54 fantasy points in 3 quarters. DeMar DeRozan, Jakob Poeltl, we talked about them a ton. Both thought they were too cheap on Yahoo. So that's what I ran on Yahoo. I think I was like 10 or 15 points out of the cash, which sucks because I had Lou Dort, but it is what it is. Now on DK, this is what I ran on DK. It's very similar. Had Lonzo, Bradley Beal, Diallo, DeRozan, Sabonis, Ish. Really the only difference is my Yahoo lineup, I had Jakob Poeltl, and on my DK lineup, I had Theo Maledon. I kind of wanted Poeltl in my DK lineup, but I just couldn't fit him. I didn't have the salary. But yeah, Poeltl smashed. If I would have played him, on DK, I probably would have been able to cash. But like once I got the tweet, or once I saw the tweet that Lou Dort was headed to the locker room, I knew my night was going to be over. I mean, he was already doing terrible. He played like 9 minutes and had literally 2 assists, and that was it. Like, he probably wouldn't have done that great anyway if he did play. But yeah, the Lou Dort injury just kind of put me in the grave. Sucks, man. Sucks. But yeah, that was my lineup from last night, guys. On DK and Yahoo, that's what I ran. What's up, Noah? I love all the great fantasy content. Is it just me or just John Wall too cheap? Yeah, I agree, King Carter. Without Victor Oladipo, John Wall should not be 6,900. I know he's had his minutes limited, but he's too cheap in my opinion. Where are you so I can time your show? I'm on the East Coast, I guess, if that's what you're asking. So I usually go live around 3:30, 4 o'clock Eastern time. Depending on when lock is. Lock's at 7:30 tonight, so I went live 30 minutes later. But normally I go live at 3:30 Eastern time. But it all depends on, when lock is. You had Dort 2 and Ish. I feel you, man. I feel you. Painful. Pain. How many Blazers is ideal for cash on DK? I mean, I think you can play Simons, Hood, Melo. I think all 3 of those guys are cash viable. Even though Gary Trent's expensive, I think he's cash viable. So I could see playing, 4. Probably don't know if I get to Robert Covington. Maybe. Definitely don't think I'd play Kenner in cash. I think he's too risky. But like 3, 4 feels about right. I think 5 is probably way too many. But 3 or 4 feels about the right. Feels about the right number, Joel. Ish could not make a shot to save his life. Yeah, I saw. I think he was 0 for 7 when I checked, but he probably was even worse after that. Like, I think it was the 3rd quarter I checked, he was 0 for 7. Who's running at center for Dallas tonight? I'm assuming, well, I think last game they actually started Kleber at center, but it's normally like Porzingis is their center, their big man. Start Porzingis if he plays over Rudy Gobert. I think so. I think I'm leaning Porzingis over Gobert, but it's really close. I do have interest in both. I think I'm gonna take Trent over Simons because he's been playing and hurt. I mean, yeah, I don't want to say Simons is risky because he's still pretty cheap. If he gets the minutes, he's gonna pay off his price. Like if I check the box score at the end of the night and Anthony Simons has played 36 minutes, then I feel very confident that he's got at least 28, 30 DraftKings points. But would I be surprised if I checked the box score and he's played, 15 minutes and something went wrong? No. Like, he's a little bit riskier than he normally would be. But like I said, guys, I'm probably still playing him, honestly. Those tweet notifications that one of your players is headed to the locker room are straight gut punches. Oh, yeah. I really haven't got killed by, injuries this year. I've actually run pretty good. But, yeah, the Lou Dort injury, it got me last night. Might focus on both benches in the Portland-Philly game. Game might get ugly really fast. No Lillard, McCollum, Division A basketball team. I mean, yeah. Like, I don't really build my lineups hoping for a blowout. I'm just going to play the guys I like and hope the game stays close. But I guess if you want to, German, you can do that. 4 Blazers too much. Simons, Trent, Anthony, Hood, also running it back with Embiid. I think that's fine, Dylan. I think that's fine. Pretty sure the dummy lineup I built had 4 Blazers in it. Who do we have starting at center for Memphis? Tillman still to play? Yeah, Tillman should still be starting, and he's viable. I definitely prefer like Melo and Robert Covington over him now, but Tillman's viable. Would you play Wall and Eric Gordon together? Yeah, you definitely can. Luka, Embiid, Mitchell, Gobert, Murray, Gordon, my lineup for points, thoughts. I mean, that looks pretty solid. You like Morant tonight? I do. I definitely have interest in Morant. Toscano Anderson get the start tonight for the Warriors? If that's a question, we don't know yet. I don't know if it's been announced that he's starting. I don't think it is. But yeah, it's probably either going to be him or Eric Pascal. But Eric Pascal's questionable. So if Eric Pascal is out, I feel way better about Toscano Anderson. I think the minutes will definitely be there for him. Yo, what's good, Noah? If you were forced to pick a Grizzly, who would it be? Probably Ja Morant for me. If Porzingis is in, he is better play than Luka. I mean, he's a lot cheaper, so yeah. I mean, he could be. Why do you do only one lineup per site? It's just what I've been doing lately, King Carter, and it's been working for me. It's also a lot easier to manage one lineup rather than 10 to 20. I've found it to be more. It's a lot less stressful to play just one lineup, honestly. Especially when news breaks after lock and I have to make changes and stuff. It's just so much easier when you only have one lineup to manage. I think I'm playing Kleber over Toscano Anderson. If Toscano is chalky, I mean, yeah, if you want to pivot there, you could, but I would like him quite a bit if he starts. And if Pascal's out, I'd like him even more. I'd feel more confident in him that the minutes will be there. You feel like Gary Trent, not that type of player to take over? I mean, he's been good when he started, and he's played big minutes, so I'm fine with him on the slate, even though he's expensive. Like, when you just don't, like, they don't have any high usage players that are going to take a ton of shots. So Gary Trent, I mean, he's going to have to do something. And he is a guy that, can be pretty good on a point per minute basis when he's given the opportunity to play, especially when he's not having to play alongside Lillard or McCollum, which he's not tonight. Gordon or Barton also have Wall. Probably would go Will Barton there, but I like both him and Eric Gordon. I think both are in play. Which Yahoo plays you liking? I mean, it's kind of what we talked about. Embiid, the Portland guys. I think Donovan Mitchell's too cheap on Yahoo. I like him quite a bit over there. John Wall I like on Yahoo as well. I mean, this is kind of a straightforward slate, honestly. Like, you just load up on the Portland guys. You kind of fit in your favorites, one or two studs with them, and then you go from there. Best value play? I mean, right now it's probably Anthony Simons. Assuming he's starting and he's not limited or anything, it's probably him. But if Trae Young winds up out, he's questionable. If he winds up out, then Rondo would probably be the better value. Hey, Noah, can you explain to me how does Draftkings tax works? I've been waiting for your live stream all day long. I'm pretty sure you asked this already, man. But so if you have over $600 in net winnings at the end of the year, they'll send you, a tax form with how much you made, and they'll report it to the IRS. One spot to fill, 3,800. Who you like? Bain, Hood, or Capazio? I prefer Hood there, Matthew. I think I'd take Hood there. Trent is like the Jeremy Grant for Detroit tonight. I mean, yeah, that's kind of a good comparison. When you hand build and no optimizer, managing 20 lineups, damn near impossible for me. Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, I like hand building my lineups, but whenever late news comes out and you have to scramble, it's tough when you have to, you have 10, 20 lineups that you have to check or manage. So it's a lot easier when just playing one lineup. Did you hit on Melo? Yeah, we've talked about Melo. I think he's a really, really good value. He's going to come off the bench, probably play close to 30 minutes, if not more. He should get a ton of usage. He's a guy that, is going to chuck when he's out on the floor. So, yeah, I really like Melo as a value. Best point guard spend up? I mean, it's probably Luka. Blazers only have 8 players. They have 9 players, Jeffrey. Fantasy Labs tweeted it out earlier, how many they had. It was Simons, Trent, Hood, Covington, Cantor, Carmelo, and then they have Harry Giles and, those 2 guys, I forgot their names that, have barely played this year. Ellaby and whatever the other dude's name is. I forgot. Ellaby and Blevins. Those are the 9 guys they have available. Can you play Embiid and Jokic together? I mean, yeah, if you can make it work, you can do that. Have you had success in 3-entry max, have a core, and change the last 3 or 4 guys? I mean, yeah, that's what I used to do. Like, I've dabbled with, playing 3 to 4 lineups. I've dabbled playing 10 to 20. Lately, I've just been running one lineup. I think 3-max is totally fine. Like, they have good 3-max contests out there. If you can play 3 lineups or so, have a maybe a core of 2 or 3 guys. You don't have to play 4 or 5 guys in every lineup in all 3 lineups, but maybe a core of 2 or 3 guys you put in every lineup, and then you kind of just work it from there. No, doctor, they send it to your account. So if you go to your account, it'll show up in your statements. You go to your account settings, go to tax statements, it'll be there. But they send it out, I believe, in like February. And they'll send you an email, too, that you got one. Morant, Wall, Trent, Bogdanovich, Porzingis, Toscano, Anderson, Embiid, Simons. I mean, yeah, that looks pretty solid. Any concern over Simons with that lingering hamstring injury? Yeah, we mentioned it a lot. I mean, like, if he's starting and he's not on the injury report, I'm going to assume that he's full go. But I guess there's a little bit of risk because, he could tweak it and something go wrong and he has to, sit out the rest of the game. But I'm playing him. If he's starting, I'm playing Simons. Oubre or Draymond? Don't know why I feel like Oubre's going to do all right tonight. I mean, I like Draymond quite a bit. Now that the Warriors are down their 2 centers, plus Marquise Chris is out, I'm assuming that Draymond starts at center, and he should get a small boost in his rebounding numbers in that way, or starting at center. He got 36 minutes last game. Like, they haven't really played Draymond that much this year, but he got 36 minutes last game. If you tell me Draymond's playing, 34, 35 minutes tonight, yeah, I'd have a lot of interest in him. You think Sterling Brown's a decent value play for tonight? Probably not. I mean, I don't even know how many minutes he got last night with John Wall out. I didn't play him, but he got 22 minutes off the bench, 31 DK points. I know, that game kind of blew out. I'm probably not playing Sterling Brown. Probably not going to go there, honestly. 4 Blazers, too much. I think 4 is probably the max for me. 4 is probably the max. Bazemore, if Pascal sits, yeah, he'd be viable. I think Toscano Anderson would probably be the first guy I'd look to, but yeah, Bazemore should get more minutes if Pascal's out. I need a small forward and power forward for $11 and $10 on Yahoo. I know Toscano Anderson's $10, so you could play him at power forward. At small forward, I don't know if there's anyone that cheap that I really like. Because I think Rodney Hood, he's a shooting guard. He's minimum salary, but he's shooting guard on Yahoo. Yeah, you could play Jayshawn Tate. So, yeah, Tate and Toscano Anderson, I would take there. $11 small forward, $10 power forward. Kenner will foul out tonight against Embiid, but I will still play both together. I mean, yeah, he could, but I think if he doesn't, get in foul trouble, he's going to play 32, 34 minutes. Kenner is. If the game stays close, he definitely will. I think if it blows out, yeah, Kenner's probably not going to be out there in a blowout. But Simons probably will still be out there. Gary Trent might still be out there. Like, they only have 9 bodies, so, 1 or 2 of these starters is going to have to play in a blowout. Who's the Dort tonight? I don't know. Can't predict injuries, but hopefully it's not somebody I roster, honestly. James or Curry? Probably would rather have Curry over LeBron, but it's pretty close. I'm not a big fan of either. I guess I'd go with Curry, though, if I had to pick one. Dorian Finney-Smith, 3,900. Good value. Probably not for me, Tom. I'm not really on Dorian Finney-Smith. Just think there's better value on this slate. Any love for Jang? I mean, like, he's going to get 22, maybe 23 minutes. He's a pretty productive player when he does get minutes. I mean, he's got upside, especially if, like, Tillman gets into foul trouble or something, but I'm probably not going to play Jang personally. Is it a bad idea to run Covington and Carmelo together? No, that's totally fine. Totally fine. How do you feel? Yeah, we've already talked about Jang. You like Gobert in a good matchup. Only concern is his minutes have been low lately. Yeah, I don't know why the minutes have been so low for Rudy Gobert. Like, I don't think it's been a blowout either. Or foul trouble. Like, blowout, foul trouble, it's not been any of that. It's just his minutes have been low. Kind of weird. I mean, most nights we're getting, 35, 36 minutes from Gobert. And I think that's what we get tonight. I don't think the 28, 29 minutes he's been getting is going to continue. I mean, he's going to get back to his normal minutes at some point. So, yeah, I do have interest in Gobert. He's still not like a top option for me on this slate. I think there's other guys I prefer now, but, yeah, he's definitely viable. Luka Embiid or Luka Jokic? I mean, I'd probably take, like I said, I'd take the savings and roster Embiid over Jokic, but if you have 11K, you might as well just play Jokic if you have the salary. You ever play contests for tickets? I mean, I'll throw, some entries in there into some of those low dollar stuff, but I really don't chase like the Like they have like a lot of winner take all contests that you can do for tickets. I just don't really chase those. It's kind of like I'll just throw my lineup in there, and if it wins, and so be it. But I don't like burn my bankroll chasing contest tickets, especially not the what's it called, the qualifiers, and you can really burn through your bankroll chasing those. The live finals. Who puts up more fantasy points tonight, King James or the Joker? I'd probably take Jokic, just straight up more fantasy points. Wall and Gordon together on DK, yeah, I'm fine with that. Monte Morris, a lower-owned pivot off of Simons. I mean, yeah, he is. I don't think he's not going to be nearly as popular as Simons, so, yeah. I've already mentioned this, but Gary Trent Jr., strong play now that Dame's out. Yeah, I like Gary Trent Jr. a lot. I like all those Portland guys. All 6 of the starters plus Carmelo I have interest in tonight. Or all 5 of the starters plus Carmelo. Any love for Desmond Bane for value? Not really. I don't think it's going to be a slate where I really look to Desmond Bane. I know the bench guys from Memphis have been getting more minutes lately, but I think at some point the starters are going to see their minutes get back to where they were. And, the bench guys aren't going to be playing as much as they have been. Is this a decent cash lineup rolling with Conley, Hood, Wall, Bogdanovich, Covington, Carmelo, Kanter, and Doncic? I mean, I don't know if I'd be playing like Mike Conley in cash. I feel like there's better plays than Mike Conley. Plus, you probably want Simons in cash. So, yeah, you got some tweaking to do, man. You're going to want like 3 or 4 Portland guys in cash. I know you got Carmelo, Kanter, and Bogdanovich, or Covington, but you probably want one of Trent or Simons too. Which Blazers are priorities on Yahoo? Melo 15 seems like a lot. Trent 18 seems like could buzz. Simons, obviously, if he doesn't get re-injured. I mean, I think Trent, honestly, at $18 is probably still too cheap. I like Simons the most because he's $11. Melo probably second favorite. Trent third favorite. Hood's minimum salary, so you can play him. I mean, I like all 4 of those guys. Thanks, bro. Keep up the good work. I appreciate that, Ryan. Thanks for tuning into the stream. Who would you fade out of Jokic, Luka, and Embiid? It would be between like Jokic or Luka. Probably Jokic, I guess. Like, I don't think you're going to be able to play all 3 of those guys, so I guess Jokic would be the one that would, I get crossed off there. But, I mean, all 3 are viable. Trent Jr. projects for 38 minutes. Yeah, it seems about right, honestly. Even if it blows out, I think Gary Trent might still be out there in a blowout, so I feel pretty confident in him regardless. One good last night, but would have been more. Teague got me 11.75. Shake my head. I feel you there, man. Teague was bad. Him and Ish Smith, Lou Dort, they were bad. You like Roto World's fantasy page for quality info? I mean, I don't really look at Roto World. When it comes to, news for NBA, I just follow Twitter, Fantasy Labs. They tweet out all the news that I need, plus, starting lineups, all that. Love the content, Noah. Keep it up. I appreciate that, Jeffrey. Appreciate that. Who you think here? Lucas, Simons, Hood, JTA, Embiid, Wall, Carmelo, Draymond. I mean, that looks pretty good, Mark. Looks pretty good. Just having trouble spending the cash set going from Simons over Conley. Yeah, I understand. You just got to, I don't know, with lineups like that, you don't want to force in a guy just because he fits, especially not in cash games. You just want to play what's, the optimal build. So you don't want to just be playing a guy just because he fits. Memphis seems to be spreading out minutes. You think Giles due for a bump soon? Yeah, I would assume so. He's not going to play 28 minutes the rest of the season. I mean, he's going to get back to 34, 35 minutes at some point. I need someone $11 a small forward or less on small forward. I got Tate already. I mean, if you have Tate at small forward, then you shouldn't need another small forward unless you're, like if you have Tate at small forward, you have $11 for a forward. So I would say Juan Toscano Anderson if you need like a $10 forward. Just move Tate to small forward. Did you go over your lineups from last night? Yeah, we did, Josh. I got burned by Lou Dort. I played Lou Dort on both sites. You can rewind the stream if you want to look at it. I was like 10 or 15 points out of the cash with Lou Dort. How many Portland players are too much in a DK GPP? I think 4 is the max for me. Like, I could see playing Simons, Trent, Hood, Melo. I don't know if I'd play, like, Covington in there, too. Like, 5 feels probably too much, but 4 I think is totally fine. 3 to 4 feels like kind of the sweet spot. Think Trent Jr. or Wall gets more fantasy points? I mean, I'd still probably take John Wall, but I do like Gary Trent a lot more now that Lillard's out. Are you worried about 76ers blowout against depleted Blazers? Play Embiid or Simmons for cash run back with 4 Blazers? I mean, I'm playing Embiid most likely with my Blazers. And, it could blow out, but it's not something I really, try and predict. I'm just going to play the Blazers and hope the game stays close. Play Embiid too. You have a formula for Yahoo like multipliers use, say Hood's $10, you look for 3x to hit value. Yeah, so it's kind of hard, Detroit Tigers. I would say normally I look for like 10 to 25 or 10 to 15 points more than what their salary is. So for example, Hood's $10, I'm probably looking for, a little bit over 20, like 25 points from Rodney Hood. I think, pretty good value. The expensive guys like Luka for 55, you don't need, 70 from Luka. I think, 55, 60 is fine. But like for the cheaper guys, you usually want, 10 to 15 points more than what their salary is. So maybe like, 2x their salary, I guess. 2x, 2.5x kind of their salary. Think Gary Trent's worth 6,300 on FanDuel? I mean, I haven't looked at the FanDuel pricing, but that seems pretty good for Gary Trent. If he's 6,200 on DK and I like him there, then I probably like him on FanDuel too at the, close to the same price. Wall, Mitchell, Trent, Toscano Anderson, Jokic, Morris, Richardson, Oubre. I mean, it looks pretty good. I mean, you don't have enough Portland, in my opinion. Like, you don't only have one guy from Portland, which feels scary, but that's your call there. I'm personally probably going to play, 2, 3, maybe even 4 guys from Portland tonight. Rondo for cash games if Trey's out. Yeah, Rondo would be a, cash game staple if Trey's out. Tate or Toscano. I think if Eric Pascal's out, I'd probably play Toscano Anderson. But if Eric Pascal plays and he starts, I'd take Tate over him. Wall, Mitchell, Richardson, Tobias, Wood, Simons, Hood, Schroeder. I mean, again, like you don't have a ton of Portland, but that looks fine. That looks fine. Ben Simmons is a strong play. I feel like he should get the cup with ease against Simons. I mean, I just never play Ben Simmons. Like when the Sixers are fully healthy, like I just rarely play Ben Simmons. And would I be surprised if he has a big game tonight? No. But I think on the Sixers side, I just really like Embiid, and that's kind of it. I never understood why guys show their whole lineups on here. I mean, hey, they want me to answer or me to, rate their lineup, I guess. So they're going to put it out there. McDonald's or Burger King? McDonald's, I guess. McDonald's was good when I was a kid, but it's not as good now, honestly. I just don't like it that much. I've never been a big fan of Burger King, personally. You do shows on MLB as well, and good luck tonight, bro. I do, Marcus. I'll have MLB videos up once MLB starts. I make NFL, obviously, and NBA. So those are the main 3 sports I cover. And hopefully, sooner rather than later, I'll be doing PGA content if I'm comfortable putting it out there. Thanks for everything, Noah. Appreciate you. Gotta bounce. Good luck to all of us tonight. See y'all tomorrow. Appreciate it, David. Appreciate you tuning in. Good luck, man. Good luck. If a guy's $20, I'm looking for 30 plus. Yeah, that's about right. $20, 30 points, $30, around 40 points. Once you start getting up to like $40 or above, you don't need like 10 more than their salary then. You probably just need like 5 more or them to just match their salary. Jamal Murray or John Wall? I'd rather have John Wall over Jamal Murray. Tillman or Melo? Already got 2 Portland players in Simons and Trent. I'd still take Melo there. I'd still take Melo. This chat should be up to over 1,000 people in a month. Been growing every day. Yeah, we have been growing every day, man. The more I stream, just the more, it's going to help to grow the stream. And I've been trying to stream every day if I can. RotoWire has Toscano Anderson starting for Golden State. I mean, I don't know. I could check Fantasy Lab starting, their projected lineup. I mean, Toscano Anderson probably starts, but I wouldn't be surprised if Eric Pascal does if he plays. Talk to you in Discord later. All right, man. I got you. Kleber or Anderson for DK cash? Probably take Anderson there. What do you think the ownership on... I'm assuming you mean Simons, not Simmons. Simons, in tournaments, like in the big $15, $100K the first tournament, I think he's probably going to be about 40, 50%. That feels about right. 40 to 50. In cash games, he'll be probably like 80 to 90, in double ups and stuff. I mean, he's going to be popular, but it is what it is. I'm probably still playing him, honestly. Has anyone said that you look and sound like Dale Jr.'s younger brother? I did not know that. I've been told I look like, Tom Holland. I've been told I look like somebody else. Do you do UFC content? I do not, Tom. I do not. I've never played UFC either. Don't know enough about it, honestly. Favorite NFL team? Probably the Panthers, just because they're kind of local. Jokic or Embiid? Give me Embiid. You don't have to spam the question, 6, 7 times. I'll see it, buddy. I'll see it. Richardson or Barton? I'd take Will Barton over Josh Richardson. I hear John Wall's questionable. Embiid may rest. John Wall's not on the injury report. He's playing, and Embiid, he's not on the injury report either. Like if Embiid was resting, I feel like we would have known by now. So I'm assuming that Embiid plays and John Wall's good to go. Could you rank Blazers for GPP and cash for Yahoo? For me, it'd probably be Simons number 1, Melo number 2, Gary Trent 3, Rodney Hood 4, Covington 5, and then Cantor 6. That's probably how I'd rank them. In cash, I think you're going to want Simons, Melo. You're probably going to want Gary Trent too. I think you're going to want those 3 guys in cash. And I could see playing Rodney Hood in cash too, but I don't think you're going to need that much value. I think you'll be good to go from those 3 guys. You'll have plenty of salary to work with. So the move is to play Juan Toscano Anderson if he's starting. I don't know anything about the guy. I don't know too much about him either. He wasn't in the rotation at all, and then randomly last game he just played like 27 minutes off the bench. He's averaged like 0.8 fantasy points per minute this year. If he starts, I'd assume he gets around 30 minutes. He's really cheap. He's going to be in play for sure if he is starting. Embiid or Luka? I think I'd rather have rather have Embiid, but it's close. Those are like my 2 favorite spin ups. Who was that 80%? What do you mean, Jay? With 80%? Embiid, Simmons, Harris, Anthony, Covington, Hardaway, Simons, Finney-Smith. A lot of you are typing Simmons. I don't know if you mean Simmons or Simons. I see you got Simmons and Simons in there. But if you're asking about which one, you got to make sure you type it correctly. But that looks pretty solid, I guess. That looks pretty solid. Barton or Covington if I already have Simons, Trent, and Melo. I think I still prefer Will Barton there. I like Covington, but I think he might go over-owned. I think out of the guys from Portland that I'm willing to fade, it would probably be Covington. So, yeah, I guess I'd take Barton there. Yeah, I do need to ban this guy. He's spam questions like crazy. Of course, right when my mod leaves, that's when people want to start spamming questions. Mike Conley or Jamal Murray for cash, is it smart? I probably wouldn't play either one of those guys in cash, but I guess if I had to pick one, it probably would be Mike Conley. You like Cantor? Yeah, he's viable. He's probably like towards the bottom of my list, and in terms of interest from Portland. But yeah, Cantor's viable for sure. I look like that's another one. Dante DiVincenzo. People said I look like Dante DiVincenzo. People said I look like Tom Holland. Are you doing a Super Bowl preview show? Yeah, I'll have a video up for the Super Bowl. Probably tomorrow, most likely. Trae Young, that's another one. So Trae Young, Dante DiVincenzo, Tom Holland. Morph those 3 guys together, and that's me, I guess. Luka, Hood, Bazemore if he starts. Draymond, Gobert, Morant, Melo, Wall. First glance may try to fit another Blazer in. That looks pretty good, Ryan. Simons, Trent, Hood, Melo, Embiid, Wall, Bron, JTA. That looks pretty solid. You have any exposure to Memphis on the slate? If I do play anyone from Memphis, it'll be Ja Morant. I haven't built out my lineups yet, but if I do play anyone from Memphis, it'll be Morant. 80% player to play in cash and GPPs. I don't really know what that means, Jay. If you're talking about someone that's cash and GPP viable, like Simons, you're going to play him in cash games, and I think he's still in play for tournaments. Barton, Dre, Tillman, if you had to pick one, it would be between Barton or Draymond. I'd probably lean Draymond, but it's close between those two. You think the Golden State-Dallas game stays close? Right now I think the spread is not that wide. What's the spread in that game? Yeah, it's a 3.5 point spread, so I'm assuming it stays close. Right now the biggest favorite is Philly I think Philly's favored by 10 now that Lillard's out. Is a Denver-LA game, would you go Anthony Davis or LeBron? I'd probably take LeBron. I really don't like either one, but LeBron, I guess, if I had to choose. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to answer questions. I appreciate it. I use some of your advice daily. Well, I'm glad you do. And I'm glad to be here, man. It's fun doing these streams. Kelly Oubre or Kyle Anderson? I think I'd rather have Kyle Anderson over Oubre. How late before lock do you finalize and set your lineups? I'm tweaking my lineup all the way up until lock. And I'm always, at my computer checking for news. But yeah, I'll start working on my lineups, after I get off the stream, but I'm constantly tweaking them up until lock. Do you drink caffeine before lock? I don't. It's not that crazy. I don't need to get, jacked up or anything. You recommend 2 top-level players like Joker and Luka, rest good mid-level players, 45, 6,800 price, or top 3 low players? It's all slate dependent, Tom. There's no slate where you say, oh, I'm going to play these guys in this price range. It's all about, where the best plays are. And there's, good value from Portland. So I think you're playing the Portland value and then kind of working from there. Really appreciate your help. Thoughts on John Wall, Gordon, Draymond Green, Gobert, Embiid, Simons, Hood, Barton? That looks pretty solid, Grayson. That looks pretty solid. You know why player lock on draft dashboard does not work for multiple lineup generation? I have no idea, Ronnie. You're asking the wrong person. Yahoo GPP, Brooks or Richardson? I'd probably rather have Dylan Brooks, honestly. I need a forward for $12 or less. I got Tate and Anderson. That's tough. Not a ton of cheap fours that I love today on Yahoo. Probably be Maxi Kleber, honestly. He's going to start. He got 32 minutes last night. Yeah, it'd probably be Maxi Kleber, I guess. Him, Tate, Anderson for cheap forwards. Under, $10 or whatever. Under $11. James, Gordon, Hood, Anthony, Embiid, Simons, Toscano, and Wall. That looks pretty solid, OJ. It's pretty solid. You think Draymond Green's a must-play in cash? I don't think so. I don't really know what the optimal cash build is right now, but I don't think Draymond's going to be like a guy you start with. I think you're starting with the Portland guys and working from there. Like Porzingis, yeah. Assuming he plays, I have a good amount of interest in Porzingis, and I like Luka as well. Those are really the 2 guys I like most from Dallas, and not much else. Is there a player you play every time they play, no matter what the price? No, Will. It doesn't matter who's on the slate. I don't go into a slate saying, oh, this guy's playing, I have to play him. I just try and play who the best plays are. Do you play COD? I do play COD. I play basically, all the top games. COD. I used to play Fortnite. I don't play as much anymore, but yeah. Me and my boys play Warzone, my boys from high school, on the weekends. Took your advice about the 20-person contest. Got a takedown last night. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Nice. That's what I like to hear. What's up, Noah? Let's get this money. Let's get it, James. Let's get it, man. Can I play Draymond or should I force Luka Zinger to run it back? You don't have to play anyone on Dallas. This isn't, you don't have to stack like that. You can just play Draymond and don't force in any Dallas guys. Obviously, Luka and Porzingis are viable and they're in play, but just because you have Draymond in your lineup doesn't mean you need to play those guys with him. Guard 5K or under, it'd probably have to be Anthony Simons, assuming you don't have him already. He's probably like the best guard under 5K right now. All right, guys, it's almost 5 o'clock, so we're going to, answer any more last-minute questions. If you got any more questions, throw them in the chat, but we'll be live for about, 3 or 4, 5 more minutes, answer all the last-minute questions you got. Once again, guys, appreciate you tuning into the stream. We'll be live again tomorrow, probably same time, maybe a little earlier. I think lock's at 7 tomorrow, so we'll probably be live at 3:30 instead of 4. Herter's 4,500 on FanDuel. That feels really cheap. I don't really play Kevin Herter when the Hawks are fully healthy, and like when Trae Young, Collins, and all those guys are healthy. But that's a pretty cheap price tag. So yeah, he's fine. You think you need someone in the final game of the night to win GPPs? No, Matt. It doesn't matter when the guy plays. And if someone is in the winning lineup from that game, it's because they probably had a good game. It doesn't mean because they were in the late night game, so they're going to be in the winning lineup. Appreciate you as always. Let's get it. Let's get it, Clinton. Let's get it, my man. Fading Simons, good play for MTT. What do you mean, MTT? I don't know what you mean there, but could you fade Simons? I mean, yeah, you could fade him. I mean, you can fade anybody. Good luck, Noah. Good luck, Jay. Good luck, man. Appreciate the help as always, though, bro. Sure thing, Tank. Sure thing. Oh, fading Simons in tournaments? Yeah, for sure. You can fade him. I mean, there's worries about that hamstring, so it could mess up at any time. Let's do a head-to-head. All right, well, puck and roll. If you want to ever play, my username's GoatOfDFS on both DK and Yahoo. If anybody ever wants to play, I'm always down. We think about Jamal Murray. I mean, yeah, he's viable, but still not really someone I'm going to be looking to that much. Just think there's so many other guys I'd probably rather target on the slate. That question sounds what it says out loud, but I hate not having a late guy. I mean, I understand. I understand. Hit the like button before you get out, guys. Noah's here to help you, so give back a little. Good luck, everyone. Yeah, good luck, everyone. Good luck. Good luck, Noah. Appreciate the content. Great as always. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, man. Looks like we got a troll back in here. Hate to see it, man. Hate to see it. Let's get this cash. Let's get it, Willie. Last minute question, Draymond in cash. I mean, yeah, he's viable in cash. I don't think he'd be like a first guy in for me. I think I'm starting with the Portland guys in cash, but yeah, Draymond, he's cash viable for sure. Murray or Conley for points? Probably Murray there. Mitchell or Porzingis? That's a close one for me. I think I'd probably lean Porzingis, but it's close between the two. Been away for a few months, wasn't able to watch your videos. To get out and see how much you've grown is motivational. I was one of your first Discord followers, and now you blew. Keep going. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, we've been streaming for about like 2 or 3 weeks and been constantly growing. It's awesome. Good picks. Thanks, bud. Sure thing, Chris. Sure thing. All right, guys. We're going to hop out of here. It's 5 o'clock. I wish you guys the best of luck tonight, as always. Thanks for tuning in to the stream. Good luck, guys. We'll see you tomorrow, probably 3:30 Eastern time. We'll be live for Friday's slate. So if you're able to tune in Friday afternoon, we'll be live around the same time. Good luck as always, guys. Appreciate you tuning in. All right. Good luck.